Black people in America, a penny for your thoughts. I have a question. And that question is, what exactly do you want? What exactly do you want from white America? What exactly do you want from America? What do you want from Black America? And the reason that I ask is I'm a little confused. I am a Black American. Make no mistakes about that. But I am not monolithic in my thought, and I will ask questions that sting. And sometimes I don't care who I offend, because the goal isn't offense. The goal is information, and the goal is knowledge. Truthfully, do African Americans want to be Black Americans within American society, or do they want to be a part of American society? I look and I see support Black business, Black this, Black that, pro-Black everything. And I think about the separatist mentality, which, to be honest, I don't have a problem with people being separatist. I don't have a problem with people, identifying with whatever culture they choose. But what I do have a problem with is double talk. And what I mean by that is African America spends a great deal of time condemning white America and asking white America for solutions to their problems. I once worked at a group home, and a friend of mine dealt with a young man who had no arms. And this young man was volatile, he was explosive. And the guy told me the story about this kid. And he said this kid's cussing him out, calling him all kinds of names, called him the N-word, just told him what a rotten human being he was, and he was a direct care staff. Now this kid is going on, he had to be restrained. He literally was just a walking powder keg of emotion, and most of it was negative. Now, after all the ranting, after all the screaming, after all the kicking and all the hollering, this kid asked my friend if he would wipe his ass for him because he has no arms. I use that analogy for what's going on with blacks in America. And I think that there's a choice. One of the words that we hate to hear, I think a lot of us as African Americans, is assimilation, because assimilation equals defeat in many people's eyes that are people of color. But the truth of the matter is the primary culture in the United States is very Eurocentric in origin. The base, the core of it is very Eurocentric in origin. And you hear people talk about, well, no, it's a multicultural society. I eat multicultural food. I go to multicultural festivals. But you know what's funny about that? Is it's all at a particular level of multiculturalism. When we start talking economics and governments, that shit turns white as hell. That shit turns very Western, whether we want to admit it or not. Oh yeah, everybody comes together for cultural fest. Let's taste each other's foods, but let's get down to the nitty-gritty of things. It doesn't look that multicultural when we start getting into dollars, when we start getting into circles of power. So while Black America is busy trying to proclaim its blackness, other people are just partaking in business. They're not partaking in black business. They're not partaking in Asian business. They're not partaking in German business. They're partaking in business. And I think our inability on as a whole, and no, I'm not talking about everybody before, some nitpicker starts saying some stuff in response to this podcast. I don't know everything, but I know that I see certain things. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on everything. What I am is a man with an opinion. We have been conquered by nearly everyone. And we haven't stopped to ask ourselves why. Very quick to look at everybody else who's doing the conquering. But we're very, very slow to ask, why are we so prone to being conquered? Why are we so prone to being under the subjugation of other people, whether it's Arabs, whether it was a colonialism? What is it with us that we need to fix? Of course, we don't do that because that requires a long, hard look in the mirror. And we damn sure don't want to hear, "I told you so." Least of all from somebody that's not black. When other cultures can come in and dominate areas of business that we practically created, we have to stop and we have to analyze what's going on. There's a big conflict between the Asian hair care store owners and black hair care, or rather black hair care store owners and distributors. These guys, they don't even know what a Lustrous Silk Pink Moisturizer does for black hair. They don't care. It's a product to sell. That's all it is. We get so caught up in keep it black that we can't even see the opportunities that are in front of us. African Americans are 12% of the population. Let's keep it black. You get 12% of the pie. No, you don't. Because of that 12%, only 3% are going to buy anything from you. Only 3% are going to consider. And perhaps 1% of that 3% will actually become a dedicated patron to what you do. We spend a great deal of time talking about diversity, but we need to diversify our business sense. Victimhood will end the African American race. It won't be by the hand of somebody else. It will be from the cancer within. Nip it or cease to exist. Plain and simple. A decision has to be made. Do you want to just be a black American doing black things in your black world in the middle of America? Because the opportunities, if you decide to do that, and I can't fault you if you do, they look a certain way. But to have the expectation that your stance will produce the same results as an American who decides to be American, you are sadly mistaken. Don't pigeonhole yourself. Give yourself every opportunity to succeed. Consider it. Or not.